guys, it's Theresa of Larkin Design, and I'm here today with another art journaling spread that I'm getting ready to create for you. And so I wanted to first off, I wanted to shout out because last Friday I released my 100th video. Yay! Like, how awesome is that? 100 videos that I have on my channel that are available with hopefully what I have tried to create is good quality videos for you that are packed with information and product and inspiration. And I hope that you have been enjoying the videos that I've been producing. I know I have had a ton of fun creating every one of these. And every one of these videos represents a layout and represents work that I've done. And I'm so proud of that, and I'm so excited about that. And that also almost overlaps with another milestone, which is that I'm getting ready to hit 1,000 subscribers. And y'all, I just want to say that y'all are so awesome. You know, that you not only watch a video, but you hit subscribe, and which is saying I want to see more, and that keeps me going. You know, every day that somebody new subscribes, I celebrate a little bit because that just makes me happy that you're following along and that you're finding something that you relate to here. And so many of you have commented and have left love for me, and I appreciate that. And so I'm looking forward to the next 1,000 subscribers. But I wanted to just put this out there because I want to do a giveaway for my 1,000th subscriber. Whoever, you know, whenever that happens, I want to do a giveaway, but I don't know what to give away. And so I've been kind of thinking about that and tossing some ideas back and forth, and I really don't know. So I wanted to put this out there to you guys and have you guys comment below and tell me, what should I give away? Do you want to see something like an assortment of products from my Etsy shop, which are there's some vintage goods, there's some paper products, there's a handwritten love stamp there's some cool mixed media stuff that I've got in my shop. So would you like to see something from there, or would you like to see, I don't know, a selection of Project Life cards given away? So leave me a comment and let me know, and then probably sometime next week I'll announce what the giveaway is going to be, and I'll start the process for that giveaway, taking names and drawing names and seeing how that all goes down. So right now I'm just thinking about it and trying to figure out what I want to do. But I want you guys to participate in that. And so anyway, back to the video of the day, which is my my trusty art journal, which I'm working through. And so two things. I wanted to talk to you about how I decided to build my pages. And when I had done the first layout, remember this one, I had sort of talked about experimenting with page thicknesses and trying to figure out how I want to do, because one page by itself is not, it wasn't really making me happy as far as thickness and being able to withstand some of the moisture. And so I had done, I think this was 2 sheets together, and this was 5 sheets together, and 2 wasn't quite good enough, so I thought. And 5 was a bit much. because what happened with 5 was that I put 2 together for this side and 2 together for this side, and then I had 1 in the center, and I had to do all that like 3 times over. So I found a happy medium, and my happy medium that I'm going to go with is actually 4 sheets. And so here's how I'm going to do that. This page right here, which has been gessoed, it's prepped for today, this is 2 sheets together. And then behind that is another 2 sheets together, and this is gessoed for the next layout. And so then what will happen is once this layout is done and today's layout is done, I can just I can adhere these 2 together, and that will be a sheet, a completed sheet. So, and then I'll start the process over again, which would be gluing these 2 together, right? This will be the piece that is glued, piece that's glued to the back of this layout. So this will be the next actual layout, and then when these 2 pages are done, they get glued together. So that's my plan going forward with this journal. And I like that plan. These pages aren't terribly thin, but they aren't terribly thick either. So I like the idea of putting a couple together just to make them a bit stronger and to use up some of these pages. I know that I won't, who's going to make that many art journaling layouts, and the spine itself won't hold that many layouts. So that's my way of approaching that. So good to have a decision made there. And that's just, your mileage may vary on that kind of thing, how thick you like your pages to be. I just like to feel like they can hold up, and they feel good when you turn them. So second item is just going to talk about the supplies I'm going to use today. And yes, this is my Mother's Day card that my children and my husband gave me. This is a papyrus card, and so I really wanted to use this somehow. And I also have the little hummingbird on the back of that, so that's fun. And then I have this little black and white houndstooth tissue paper that might be fun to use. And I also have my Dear Lizzy stencil, and I used a piece of it in a Project Life layout like 2 years ago or something. I don't know. And then I decided that maybe I should just keep the rest of it for an actual stencil, what it's actually made for. So I'm going to use that a little bit. And then I had this on my desk because I've been working with some Fancy Free collection from Paige Evans for Pink Paisley, and so I might bring a little bit more of that in there. So that's where I'm going. I don't know where it's going to end up, but let's see, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so let's get started here. I'm going to just tear some random sheets from this houndstooth tissue paper, and I'm going to put my chipboard in place so that it's protecting the page underneath. And then I'm just laying the tissue paper out to see kind of where it's leading me on the page. And I'm trying, forming kind of a visual parentheses here on the layout. There's a couple of ways to approach a new page, and how to figure out how you want to put your things down. And parentheses is one of those ways, right? Visual triangle is another way, and I'm sure you're familiar with that one. And but parentheses was the one I wanted to use, what I wanted to do today. And so I'm just using my matte gel I will say that I put it on a little thick, and later on you'll see me kind of struggle with this tissue paper. My best advice, and I'll say this again later on, my best advice is to not overwork the tissue paper. Just to put it down and then leave it. Put it down on the layout and then leave it. It got a little thick and clumpy in some places here. I'm not really sure why that was. It really is thin tissue paper though, so I'm not surprised. But this is part of working with these layouts and working with different types of materials and papers, is that you really don't know what you're going to get until you actually put it down. And so that's the risk taking in art journaling. And so today my lesson is how to put down tissue paper, and that is literally just to put it down and then walk away. This side of the page worked out a whole lot better. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there, I think. And that's okay too. You just keep on going with these layouts. You just keep on going, and you jump off the diving board, and that's it. So I'm just continuing to put this down. Now this page is going to end up being glued to the back of the next layout, so I'm not going to worry as much about what to do with the tissue paper on the back. Some of it is folded over, and then some of it I trimmed off a little bit. So I'm just going to clean up my stuff here, and then dry that a little bit. Let's see. I'm getting a new chipboard backer. I just use those chipboard backers are just what comes in a scrapbook shipment, from Gossamer Blue or scrapbook.com. I just reuse those. So now I'm just going over all of this with the gesso, and I'm using a really rough bristled brush, really rough and old. One thing I love about gesso is getting those brush strokes in there for the color to settle into. I've talked about that before. So seriously, just the cheapest, most rough brush you can find. After drying all that, I'm gonna work with these gelatos, and this is where it goes bad with that tissue paper on that one side, because it turns out that wasn't quite dry in some sections. But that's okay. I'm just keeping on going. And again, just like I did last video, I'm just putting color down on the page using gelatos this time. Now, gelatos work a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? They're a little bit more obvious. The color is a little bit more obvious than those watercolor crayons that I used last time. And so that's cool. These, again, it just makes a nice color wash. And again, that color sinks into that gesso and makes a really awesome texture. So I'm not going to overblend these colors today. I just want some color down on the page, because we're going to break that up. I'm going to break that up later on. I don't know why I always say we. Like there's 3 people working on this or something. Anyway, just humor me. But I watch how that moves on the page when you move it around. Oh, I love that. That is just like serendipity. I'm going to get a little bit of the water up off the page and introduce a little of that paper towel texture as well. I'm thinking that a cloth towel might be nice too, to add a texture there. And so you can see right in the middle of that left hand side, you can see where that tissue paper is starting to pull up, and that'll become a big dramatic moment here in a little while. But that's okay. I'm just drying it. Dry. Heat set. I probably let it set for a couple of hours, and then here's where I was trying to see what was dry and what wasn't, and then I ended up just like rubbing some of that off. It was so wet and just peely. So anyway, I'm not really stressed about it. I just wanted to get it dry, and I knew already that I was going to cover that up, so I wasn't really worried about it too much. So I'm going to go ahead. Everything is dry now. This is like 3 hours later. Everything is dry now, and I'm just prepping the card for what I'm going to do with it. Now, this card had some gems on it, raised gems on it, and so I wanted to bring those out through the through this process. And then on the other side, I'm just going to use the triangle from the envelope. It had a really pretty, the papyrus symbol. It's a hummingbird, and I thought that I would leave that showing, but it doesn't end up working out that way. But anyway, for now, it's there for now, just to repeat the gold that's on the left-hand side. So, and that's one thing that you want to do on these double spreads, is repeat an element. If you use it on one side, use it on the other side as well. Just for a little bit of repetition and a little bit of familiarity. So I'm just putting this down, and after I finished this layout, I told my husband that he should have gotten me like 5 of those cards, because they're so pretty, and he just laughed. Yeah. And I also, well, he's out of town this week, and I sent him a picture of the layout, and I said, I hope you're not offended, but I cut up the card that you gave me for Mother's Day. But he was excited about it, of course. So anyway, he was like, oh man, that's a cool thing to do. So that's a good thing. I'm lucky that he's always very supportive of what I do, everything that I make. He really likes. Alright, so enough mushy stuff. Let's get some fingers dirty here. I'm going to use this pink paisley paper. I'm just cutting out some of the circles, and I'm just doing rough circles. I'm not really overly concerned with what these say or what exact shape they look like. I'm just concerned with spots of color is what I really want these for. So I'm picking out, a couple of the shades of pink and green and yellow. So, just cutting those out freehand. Fun, nothing complicated at all. I'm just gonna place them on the page now and see how I want to arrange them. I want to cover up the words on the card, but I want to leave those those horizontal or the vertical lines now. I want to leave those showing. And of course, I'm trying to cover up these awful mistakes in the middle of the page. So this is the fun part about art journaling, right? Where you can cover up your mistakes and just keep on going. So I learned that from Donna Downey, right? I used to watch her Inspiration Wednesday videos. So I learned from her how to make mistakes on camera and do it gracefully, because she, not that lady makes any mistakes, right? I mean, everything that she does is just beautiful and amazing, but she would always do something and be like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'll be right back. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with this, and I'll be right back. And then she'd come back, and it would be, okay, I'm going to gesso this. I'm going to gesso over this and start over. So, anyway, I'm not going to gesso over anything, but I did cover up those mistakes. And so now I'm going to repeat those circles on the other side. And this is another one of those design decisions, right? Everything, the one on the left-hand side is a grouping of 5, and the one on the right-hand side is a grouping of 3. Although there's a 4th circle with the little medallion, but I cheated a little bit here because the turquoise creates the 5th element. So, but there's definitely a focal point on the left-hand side, right? The those gold flowers create the focal point. All right, so I'm pulling out this gorgeous stencil, and now that I've used it more, like, I can't believe I haven't used it more since I bought it. Like, shame on me. But I'm just gonna use my modeling paste and put that design down. And y'all, I just wait until I lift it up. It's just amazing. Yeah, this really made me happy. I was surprised at how easily the modeling paste went on. I was worried about using it on that stencil because that stencil is so, it's flimsy, right? And usually I'm using stencils that are more solid. I think you know what I'm talking about. But there we go. I lifted up, and I just had to take a deep breath in for a minute, right? And so then, I thought I edited this out, but oh well, we're just going to roll with it here. I thought I was going to flip it over and put it flipped over on the other side, but that didn't work out. So I just scraped that off real quick and then went and washed the stencil, and now I'm just figuring out how I'm gonna arrange it on this side. I wanted to just be sure and mirror that from the other side. And so ta-da, I probably did this side a little bit more messy, especially around the stencil. This stencil lets you carry the modeling paste off the stencil if you want to, so I sort of had to thin it out. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but anyway, it doesn't matter. There, that side is done, and I let it dry. I let it air dry for probably about another hour or so. I don't know. I just got working on other stuff, so I'm gonna do a quick stamping element here with these Dear Lizzy stamps, and that's really all that I'm gonna add to this layout. I'm gonna do some more colors on top of that modeling paste, but there, I put that stamp down, and that was really just kind of a nod to the card and it being my Mother's Day card. So anyway, I'm using Tim Holtz Distress inks for this last part, and yeah, I totally poured too much of the pink one in here. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the name of it was, what the color name is, but I'm diluting it with water, and my brush is really wet again. and putting that color on there on the edge of the page, and then spraying with, or misting with, the water. I will say that I tend to mist pretty heavily, and I misted pretty heavily on this, just to move that paint around the page. At first I thought I would just do, just let it trail down the page a little bit, but then I was realizing how the mist carried it around those blooms, and so it kind of became more. I decided I wanted to do more of the paint around that stencil design. I don't know if I'm making sense again. Blah, 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 blah. But you'll see how I start to fill that in. At first I was going to leave it primarily white, but I really did take to the idea of having that stencil design colored in, and I fell in love with those distress inks here as well. I've always been a fan of Tim Holtz distress inks, but something happened with those inks on this layout. I've used them many times, but I've never used them with that stencil, and I've never used them with modeling paste. And wow, just wow. I was pretty impressed. I'm not sure where I went there. Sorry about that. But moving along, I think I had to get another color. Maybe? No, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just continuing to put more color down, and I'm just choosing kind of randomly, to be honest. I'm choosing randomly where I want to put colors down. I guess there's some design decisions being made as far as balance between the two sides. And then I wanted to add a little bit of yellow. And I'm just trying to get it to go down that page. And then, of course, you don't have to start the ink on the edge of the page. You can start the ink in the middle of the page too. That's okay. So you'll see me do that several times. But I just love what these inks do when you put a blob down on the stencil design and then you spray that water. Man, I just love that. It's quite addicting. So, I know that this layout probably doesn't feel complete. This is all I'm going to do to it, is just keep layering these colors on it a little bit more. And I'm not going to add any other elements to the page. It probably needs a little bit more than what I've done. But to me, the beauty that is in this layout is right there, with those colors and how they interacted together and how they bring out that stencil. So I really made the conscientious decision to leave it with this. Sometimes that can be a hard decision to make. Am I done with this, or am I not done with this? And part of me knows that I'm not really done with this, but it is beautiful just the way it is. So I'm just finishing up a couple of more spots. I really wanted to try. My favorite area on this layout is in the lower right hand corner, and I was trying to repeat that over here on the left hand side, and I didn't quite get it, and I just ended up stopping because I didn't want to make a muddy mess of the color. So sometimes it's just important to know when to stop. And so that's pretty much it for this layout, and I'm just glad that you guys followed along. Be sure and leave me a comment about this. Let me know what you think, alright? I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you next week. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.